everyone. My name is Jada,
My name is April.
and this is the MendHER Podcast, where we focus on healing the little girl to restore the woman. And we do that through centering Christ and nurturing our body, mind, and soul. So, welcome everyone to our season one recap episode. I think we just really wanted to take the time to really reflect on what we've talked about for the past 10 episodes and also just reflect on like what was the episodes that resonated with us the most, what episodes resonated with you all the most, what were some key takeaways. So just like a big recap. So the one thing that I really just want to off the bat just say is like I really appreciate us being consistent and really trying to create a space in the community for women to really focus on healing past traumas that really has impacted them into adulthood through centering Christ, but also, consulting with God, what do I need to heal in order to become the woman that you're calling me to be? Um, so I just wanted to, you know, mention that. Um, so first I thought we just start with like some spiritual reflections for the season. My first question is like, why is it important to pause and reflect on the work that God has done in our lives?
Because we don't want to forget where God has brought us from,
Mm-hmm.
but also to when we give God thanks for where He has brought us from, that gives Him room to continue to do for us. But also as well, it also helps us put Him in remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
And when we put God in remembrance, we're saying, "Thank you, God, for what you have done and what you are going to do and what you will do in the future."
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's important that we reflect.
Yeah, and I feel like to piggyback off that, I think it's important to, I kind of like what you said, like put God in remembrance, but also giving gratitude, to God, and being able to reflect like what God has brought us through, because we could look back on our past and see the growth from where we are today. So being able to give gratitude, give thanks to God, and also just being able to pause and reflect and see how trusting in God and obeying God has really, shaped our journey from the past to the present.
But it also provides a measuring stick as well
Mm-hmm.
from when you started up until now, and also allows you to course correct if you have fell off track or whatever like that, so you could get back on track to where you're trying to get.
Right. So I thank God for the ability to pause and reflect because it's definitely been helpful in the season that I am, and I'm sure it's been helpful in the season that you're in as well.
And that's funny that this season in right at the middle of the year is
Mm-hmm.
halftime season.
Right. It's
So
time
we
to
get
really.
to reflect
Mm-hmm.
and see what worked, what didn't work,
Right.
so we can move forward these next 6 months.
And then it's summertime. I feel like that's when that rebirth period is really happening. Like I know springtime is like, rebirth, but now you're really seeing the bearing of your fruits in the summertime, I feel like. So I definitely agree. What a perfect way to like summarize this season and then, get ready for the next season.
Yes.
Yeah. The next question that I have is how have you seen God's faithfulness throughout this first season of MendHER?
The feedback that I have been getting from this season,
Mm-hmm.
it is touching a lot of women in different areas. Um, it's causing women to acknowledge they
Mm-hmm.
have trauma they need to heal from. I have received a lot of feedback that this is the type of conversations that are needed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I told you if we just touch one person, we have touched a lot of people.
Right.
But it's just to get these conversations started.
Right. I guess I've seen God's faithfulness too in the sense of giving us the capacity to even create this community, and blessing us to continue to give our all to be able to speak to you all and to give us the wisdom to pass on to you all. Just being able to like connect with God and just ask him like, what is something that you feel that you needs to be shared that people need to know. Um and also just, being able to see God's hand over this podcast
Right.
and over our lives and how he's working through us and how our lives is like could be a testimony to others out there to show them that your past doesn't have to define your future, and we're all a work in progress. Because we've all sinned, and
Come short
yeah,
of His glory.
right.
But
But
it's just remembering that God is faithful and that He allows us to course correct.
right, right. My next question is, what does it look like to honor our progress while recognizing there's still room to grow?
To keep doing it even though we're dealing with disruption, because
Mm-hmm.
ever since I heard Myron Golden say that disruption follows intention,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it really has made me not stop just stop, because I'm good at starting and stopping, but I just keep hearing that in my brain, and I just know that disruption comes with intention. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
being intentional, I should expect disruption. So since I heard that, it's like, okay, April, it's all right to feel uncomfortable. You just pivot. You just got to keep going, push past it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feeling that disruption, that means that you're going in the right direction. If you're not feeling any force coming with it, any pushback or anything, that means you're not on the right path,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not supposed to be comfortable.
Right. I guess when I think of that question, I kind of always think about like atomic habits, like trying to become 1% better every day. So I guess that's how I honor my growth. Um, yeah, I was reading the question. What is it like to honor our progress while recognizing there's still room to grow? Yeah, just striving to do better every day. And recognizing like our growth isn't going to be a linear process, because,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, there are going to be like setbacks and disruptions. But it's like you said, continue to get yourself back up and continue to progress forward. Continue to try to be better than yourself you were the day before. Um, and also just continue to surround yourself with people who are going to keep you accountable as well. I feel like it's also helpful. But I feel like that's definitely the way that I honor my progress, is just every day just trying to do something better
And
and not trying to strive for perfection.
right, and that's why I think that disruption is just letting you know, are you really being intentional? How intentional are you being when disruption happens?
Mm-hmm.
Happens. So disruption lets you know how intentional you being if you keep pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's helping me to keep going.
So now we're gonna kind of recap, season one. And the first question that I have, like looking back on our journey through season one, is looking back, what conversation from this season impacted you the most personally?
I would say boundaries and communication.
Mm-hmm. And what about those episodes resonated with you?
How we talked about boundaries, how, you know, God talks about boundaries in the Bible, and how it keeps you to be from being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to separate yourself from things that are not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to set those boundaries from the environment that you don't want to be a part of.
Right, as a
But
sign of spiritual
right,
protection.
but
Yeah.
also the communication part was when we broke down how we may categorize one emotion as one certain thing, but it could be a buildup of different emotions. That part really helped me out to
Mm-hmm.
realize that everything is not anger, everything is not sadness, that it could be other different emotions that I just allowed to build up, and I'm just calling it anger.
Mm-hmm. I feel like for me, definitely the communication one, just because I feel like we communicate every day. That's something that we do every day, and I feel like every time I'm communicating with someone, I kind of try to do a reflection, like, okay, Jada, what are some things that you and your mama talked about that that is unhealthy communication that you want to course correct in the now? Like, just trying to be cognizant, because emotions do fester up, and then that impacts my communication. But just trying to be cognizant of, like, okay, is my tone, is how I'm speaking to this person healthy, and is it coming across, my message coming across the way that I intended it to? And also just real, like, also shifting my perspective on what it means to communicate. I feel like sometimes communication can, I don't know, sometimes when I think of communication, I just think about conflict, because that's 9 times 10 when I feel like I'm communicating with someone was when I'm trying to resolve an issue. But when I change my perspective on communication as a tool to communicate my needs and to, for the other person to hear what I need from that situation in order to either repair, heal, or continue to grow our relationship, I feel like that shifted like how I approach communication in general.
Yeah,
Like
because you
with
can't
you.
think that communication is just about conflict.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It shifted my perspective on like
Why we
what,
communicate.
yeah, like what's the purpose of communication?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's to communicate a need in order to resolve an issue, repair a relationship, etc. So I think that was like that shifting for me that makes me take those pauses in conversations. Cause I still do like mess up as far as like have those unhealthy communication patterns, but at the end of the conversation I am reflecting and taking note. Okay, Jada, you could do this better next time, or you could have your emotions in check this time, or you could take a pause here because you realize you're not communicating what you want that person to hear, or that person is not listening to you and you need to like, you know, rewind, you know. So I think that was definitely a conversation that stuck with me for this season. Was there a moment while recording where you realized God was teaching you something in real time?
Yeah, that time when we talked about um, communicating emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and when we talked about the time when we was going to the beach and I couldn't pinpoint what it was, and I pinpointed that it was, I felt I wasn't being chosen,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when that happened in real time.
Mm-hmm. I feel like for me, was it the communication piece? I think it was the communication piece when we were talking about like how we speaking over ourselves. And big, I think it was something that you said that Myron Golden has said,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like whenever you say like I
I
am,
am.
replace it with God is. And I feel like that definitely has me pausing whenever I'm saying negative things over my life, because it's like, okay, Jade, is God those things? No. So like course correcting it and just speaking more positively over my life and over others as well, because the words are powerful. The words are the power of the tongue. So I feel like those are like, they definitely, like in that moment we were talking, I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're right. Even like it's just thoughts, stuff that I'm not even speaking. I still thoughts keep getting those thoughts captive and rewriting those thoughts
Mm-hmm.
into something positive. What surprised you most about this journey or the conversations we had?
I'm not gonna say it surprised me, but I'm proud of our growth in how we have been communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Even though sometimes, it has been difficult, I see the growth, that we are getting the understanding. That's even if we're taking a pause from the conversation and we allowing it to die down and then coming back and then expressing our needs
Mm-hmm.
and wants to each other in a way that we both understand. So I really believe these episodes has really helped us to be better communicators along the way.
Mm-hmm. I feel like from these conversations I took away like we've went through similar, we've had similar traumas, but we've had polar opposite behaviors that's come out those similar traumas. And it made me think like how everyone probably goes through like those same things, but everyone's behaviors is completely different,
Mm-hmm.
because there's other factors to consider as far as like just who that person is on the inside. Like not everyone's going to respond to trauma in the same way. So that was something that was like an eye-opener to really understand like we're all reacting out of trauma, but there's so many different spectrums of behaviors
Right.
as a
And
response to that
everybody is
trauma.
going to respond to trauma different, and we can't expect everyone to respond like we respond. Also, we can't expect everyone to heal
The way,
the same way that we heal, because it
right,
may take them longer, it may take them a shorter time. They may heal this way, you may heal this way. You may go to therapy, they may not go to therapy, but the the key is that we all come to the point where we acknowledge and we deal with it.
right, right. And I think that's the point of this
That's the main
this
part of it,
here.
right?
Yeah, like acknowledging our past, but course correcting our behaviors now so we can become a better person in the future and the
Mm-hmm.
person that God has called us to be. If you could revisit one episode with what you know now, which one would it be and why?
Mine is the communication, because if I had known that you needed more time to process your thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have handled you differently as a child. But
Mm-hmm.
because parenting never came with a book, I'm thinking because I'm asking you something, you should be able to respond right then and there. But I think that's also not just with you, I think that's just parenting, period.
Mm-hmm.
And until you as a parent understand how your child thinks and communicates, that's where the disconnect comes, because we assume people are supposed to communicate the way that we communicate. We assume people are supposed to process the way that we process.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't have these conversations and ask each other, how do you want to be communicated to? How do you respond to conflict? How
Mm-hmm.
do you handle conflict? If we ask these open end questions, we will find out a whole lot that we would not have to go through the things that we go through.
Right. And also being honest about how we are communicating. Like,
Right.
I feel like sometimes you need that sounding board. You need that accountability person to be like, I see you communicate this way, but that's not beneficial for our relationship. Like, that's not helping our relationship. Let's try this way. Someone to kind of course correct you. I feel like that's been helpful as far as in my personal relationship. Like, having someone to give me feedback, and not saying like like you type something into like a keyboard and they give you a response, but just meaning like when we have those communication that is like putting harm onto our relationship, that person is actually responding like in a way to like, I want to fix this, like I
Mm-hmm.
want to mend our relationship. I don't want to continue to downgrade our relationship with bad communication. So expressing like, if you need something, communicate that to me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to get upset. You don't have to shut down. You could communicate those needs to me. And because I'm operating from more of a secure attachment, I'm going to be able to I'm going to be able to give you what you need.
Right.
So there's no need for a back and forth. There's no need for this relationship to continue to go downhill because we're communicating healthily.
Right.
And you're communicating to me your needs. I feel like, again, changing a perspective of, you're not communicating to argue, you're communicating to resolve issue.
Right.
And to communicate what you need. Like, that's what it is.
And you're not making that person your opponent. It
Right.
really is, the problem at hand is not that person. The problem is the communication.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you develop a better way of communicating and understand how the other person as well as yourself communicates, I think we will be in a better place. But also, how we will also become in a better place is coming from a place of serving.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just serve ourselves. You have to be in a place where you want to serve others,
Right.
and not expecting nothing in return.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we be more better at serving others, we will see a whole lot better in our relationships.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like that's something we're gonna touch on later on. I feel like if there was one episode I could revisit with what I know now, I feel like navigating family dynamics. 'Cause I feel like we kind of did touch on like the different household dynamics, like single versus two parent, and we kind of touched on blended families. I know I did because I kind of experienced a blended family, but I wish we also would have got into like the different roles that each member kind of takes on. Like, if you are a single parent, like as a single mother, like you kind of take on mom and dad.
No, I'm still not taking on.
No, I'm not saying you intentionally want to take that on, but from the child's perspective, you do take on mom and dad. Like, you are the provider and the nurturer is what I mean in that sense. Like, you are the sole provider, you are the nurturer because I'm living with you. So, but you disagree? Like, why is it the way that I've said that, or
I think we should call it something else, because too many single women think that's a flex.
and I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm not
And
saying
that's
for
what
you,
I
like
know,
like you don't want to.
I
Like,
don't.
you let me go by my dad. I'm not saying you trying to isolate me from my dad, but I'm saying from the child's perspective, you know how a lot of people say like, oh, my mom is make it happen, like that type, like meaning like in
Yeah,
that sense.
but at the same time, even if that is the case, I've always told you, you have a dad. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I'm not that single mom that's over here. Oh, I'm the mom and the dad. No, I'm not, because you have a daddy,
Mm-hmm.
and you could call your daddy. I only want to be a mom. I'm not a man, and I can't teach you manly things.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm not a man. And I want us to get away from that because we've already taken a man out of his rightful place.
Mm-hmm.
So single women thinking that's a flex, talking about they the mom and the dad. No, you the mom and the dad because you made wrong choices.
I wasn't saying, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't saying, I do agree with that, but I wasn't saying like you took on that. I'm saying
we need to call it something else because I don't want it to get out as if we're celebrating that.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're celebrating it. I'm just saying from a child's perspective. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't saying like you're a man, you're teaching me how to fix a car and stuff like that. I'm just saying you are like that is what you are. You are the sole provider and you are taking care of me. Like in that context is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. But I do agree with what you're saying. I'm not trying to say,
well, I just call it I'm just being your mother. Mm-hmm. Because you are with me, I'm responsible for you, and that's why I take care of you because you live with me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I call it.
Yeah.
I don't say, oh, I'm your mama and your daddy because I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
I know you're not, but that's why I said I just want to change it as I'm just your mother. You live with me, so it is my responsibility to take care of you.
Mm-hmm. But like, so exploring like those different dynamics and also like the eldest daughter and the mother dynamics. I feel like a lot of people that I've spoken to, like there's always like, I don't know, there's always like this I mean, even you could speak to that. Like there's a dynamic with like the eldest daughter and the mother. Like there's some type of tension or some type of relationship where it's not the healthiest that I feel like I wish we kind of would have dived into more, which I feel like we will eventually. Being the only child, I feel like there's different like individual family roles that we didn't really dive into. Mm-hmm. And how that impacts how you grow up to like have different behaviors, like whether that's independency, maybe codependency, different unhealthy behaviors that I feel like comes from taking on that role. Not saying you are that role, but there are certain traits that I feel like are synonymous with being the eldest daughter. Like most eldest daughters are more independent, are more self-sufficient, are more caretakers, nurturers of their other siblings. Not saying that's what they wanted, but that's just how the cookie crumbled, you know?
And that's how it happened as them being the oldest child, right?
Right. So that's something that I wish we would have dived into a little bit more, which I'm sure we will as well, because I also want to explore more of our dynamic and like how it's different than you and your mother's dynamic, and hopefully for the future, my children, that dynamic is going to continue to get better.
Right.
Yeah. So now we'll just switch the topic to growth beyond the mic. So basically just discussing like how this podcast has like translated into real life, everyday life, like outside the podcast. So how has your definition of healing changed since we launched this podcast?
I would say my definition of healing has changed because I'm really allowing God to be God, but also I'm allowing Him to teach me how to handle these, different situations. I looked at trauma as one way, but as I began therapy and all that, it's like between God and therapy, my story could be rewritten, and I don't have to be this.
Right.
I don't have to be my trauma. I don't have to just focus on the trauma.
Right.
And that's how I have rewritten my healing journey.
I feel like I redefine healing as, non-linear, of course. It's going to have its ups and downs, but also just understanding healing doesn't just mean pain the entire time. Like there's joy in it as well. There's resilience. There's beauty in it. Like, especially when you're at that point where it's like you're really coming through it. Like you just feel like, oh, things are getting better.
Yes.
Like it's nowhere near as painful as it once was. And also understanding like the healing process, you don't have to shoulder the healing process all on your own. You could lean on God to really heal the broken pieces of you that, you can't heal because you can't heal alone.
Right.
You
don't have
God
the
is the healer. Yes.
He is the healer.
Right.
And to have a support system to go through that healing process with you is even more phenomenal than anything because you have people holding you accountable, but also that healing is being able to get it out. I don't know what it is about getting it out, just saying it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think if they talk about it, or you just talking about the past, you bringing up the past. No, talking about it is really gonna set you free, because what's come out is no longer keeping you bound. It's no longer a secret.
And it's also a form of acknowledgement too, like acknowledging like there was pain in that,
Right?
but there's healing that's coming.
Yes.
And I think also acknowledging like there's different forms of healing. I feel like people probably rely more on the physical healing, like I just want to feel like, but I feel like there's also the spiritual healing aspect that I feel like is even more miraculous, even more like freeing.
Yes.
And like really talking to God and asking him to really like heal your heart. Yes.
Because you can get the physical healing, but if you not spiritually healed, you still in bondage. Right. You still in bondage. You're still in a mental prison.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, physically you may look like you're not bound, but mentally and spiritually you are, and that's what's keeping you stuck.
Right. Yeah.
So if the body and the mind is not aligned, you still unhealed.
Yeah. And I feel like that spiritual healing definitely takes time. And you can't fake that spiritual healing.
No.
Like when you really...
and it comes out your mouth. So you can't fake it.
Yeah.
Because what comes out of your mouth is what you are.
Right.
So you could fake it with the looking good and all that, but if what's coming out your mouth, people know it's not right.
Right. And also like how what your life is showing. Like you know through actions, the fruits of your life that definitely does reflect like how healed you are, how your environment is responding to you. Like there's so many different,
you're responding to the environment.
Yeah.
Because there's a version of the unhealed you that responds, and there's a version of the healed you that responds.
And that's two different
responses.
Yeah. So yeah, this podcast definitely has shaped like how I perceive healing. Especially, again, you made a good point, like doing therapy, but also consulting with my spiritual therapist, God. Yeah, it helps having both, for sure. Because I'm getting my physical healing in the physical as well, but I'm getting that spiritual healing as well. So I'm doubly covered. So, yeah. So the next question is, in what ways have you seen yourself grow that listeners may not realize?
Me not getting upset when you shutting down.
I feel like for me, recognizing like regulating my emotions and recognizing when I am in that fight, flight, or shut down response. That's something that I have been trying to grow at outside of the podcast, and just recognizing, when I am feeling not in the mood to really process my emotions,
to communicate,
checking, not even just that, but just like regulating myself first before I can even communicate, because I feel like that's why I shut down, is because I'm just feeling overwhelmed with emotions right now. So,
but I could honestly say you are doing a very good job, because even though you do shut down, it don't take you long to communicate. Oh, I just need some time, or whatever I ask you, you'll answer. So you are getting better with that. I do want to commend you for that.
Where do you still trust in God to help you heal or strengthen?
Me understanding that everybody is not me. That everybody is not going to do things the way that I do them, and that's perfectly okay, because that's the reason why God made us all different. That I just need to develop the understanding and patience of why people do the things the way that they do it, and that it's okay for them to do it that way.
I feel like for me, I feel like I've been wanting God to like strengthen like our family, and just like restoring our family, healing any traumas that has impacted like our relationships. I feel like there definitely has been some traumas that impacted like the flow of our family dynamic, strengthening like our communication, because I feel we all have different communication styles, and that's where the strain also comes from. It's like one person not feeling heard, one person is feeling misinterpreted. So I feel like that, we get that healing in those areas. I feel like our family would be better off, and just having like more, family nights, just more opportunities to really relearn each other in our healed versions or our healing versions of ourselves. I feel like we do have to forgive past versions of people that have hurt us in the past in order to even continue to build or repair a relationship with our family members. So also asking God to strengthen that within our family. So yeah, and then communication as well, to strengthen my ability to regulate my emotions, so I'm able to communicate properly and get my words across. Because I feel like a lot of times, since I am like, since I tend to overthink, it's just helpful for me to be able to regulate my emotions, and I feel like that will calm down, slow down my thoughts, and then I'll be able to process what I'm thinking to say it out correctly. Because I feel like a lot of times my brain just have so many thoughts that's going at a mile a minute, like I can't physically catch up. So it's like I'm just spitting out verbal diarrhea, and it's just like it's not coming out the way I wanted to. And on the back end, that's frustrating me because it's like I know what I said, I know what I meant to say, but the person is not, they're not hearing my needs. So that's frustrating me even more, and that's causing me to shut down. So just trying to process my emotions first so I can regulate my thoughts, regulate my emotions, and contain my thoughts so I can speak properly. So now I want to switch the topic to really, what lessons have we learned from like the mother-daughter perspective? Um, so, sharing about like our dynamic and how we feel like our relationship has grown since the beginning of the podcast. So what have you learned about me through these conversations that you didn't know before, besides the obvious, like I shut down, I need a minute to pause?
That I don't think you mean it purposely, and I need to stop taking it purposely. Um, I'm really understanding that because I still had difficulty understanding what you mean by regulating yourself and your mind going them out, with all these thoughts or whatever to communicate. So it's just me taking a pause and just not taking it personal, but just allowing you that space to come back and see what actually is going on.
So what you mean by, like, I guess, like, explain to me what you don't understand when I say like do you be confused when I say I'm overstimulated? Like, do you be confused when I just flash out? Like, do you?
Sometimes I be thinking it's the excuse. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's not. It's really not. You don't want me to claim it, but again, I really do think that is the reason why my brain does the thing that it does, because ADHD brain does that. But I really just feel like it's just a lot of things that just happen at once, that it's just like overstimulating, like physically overstimulating. And I do be processing like a lot of things at once. It could be simple things, but one thing that overstimulates me, I guess I could use as an example, is like when we are having a conversation, and on my end, your tone is getting raised, like your voice is being elevated. That's overstimulating for me because one, I just don't respond well to loud noise in general. And to me, when you're elevating your voice, that's something that's already, it's hard for me to just regulate, process my thoughts, because your loud voice is interfering with me just being able to process my thoughts and then being able to communicate that in a healthy manner.
And again, we then had this conversation several times. My voice don't get elevated until something is said or done. I'm just not raising my voice to be raising my voice.
No, I agree, but can you still agree as well that regardless of something being done that you don't like, do you still agree that it's healthy for you to raise your voice? Because I feel like that's your defense mechanism, but it's still not healthy.
And I agree, it's not healthy.
Yeah, just like I agree, shutting down isn't healthy for me as well.
That's something I still, it's an old habit. It's a habit that I'm still working on, and that's why I said I have to catch myself before I even let it escalate to even something worse. I have to catch myself in that moment when I do feel it and be like, you know what, April, it's not even worth proving the point. She's not going to hear what you're saying. That's what I'm telling myself as I'm letting it out. And I'm like, April, this is not how you want this to go. And the results from it is, it's still not going to be resolved. And that's when I just be quiet.
Yeah, because I feel like you could still, you can still voice your anger without it sounding without yelling. I feel like that's not just you in general. I mean people in general. I feel like in general when people are at that point, at their breaking point, voices do get elevated, but that's still unhealthy because we should still be able to communicate things because God doesn't want us angry. And I feel like we
I
shouldn't be
don't
yelling at
disagree.
each other to get a point across because it's like at the end of the day, it's just not resolving anything.
But I also, and I'm not making an excuse for it because you are correct. But when I didn't say something more than once, the same thing, instead of you allowing me to keep saying, just say, I don't have an answer for you. Or I need to regulate my emotions so I could be able to communicate in the way that you need to communicate. But me constantly saying something to you and you asking me, well, what? However you say it, it makes me have an attitude because it's the way you're answering me.
Mm-hmm.
That sparks up the anger in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not justifying it. I'm just telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's just some reflection I have to do on my end as far as like,
Well, we both have to do it.
yeah. But that was just me basically explaining my overstimulation. I feel like it doesn't. I feel like loud voices just don't phase you though. Like, so of course you don't get.
Yeah, it don't.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't get overstimulated though. Or if you do, you use the word, but it's like I feel like people do use the word overstimulation freely to where it's like that really is, I feel like, a specific word that people who are on the spectrum, people who have ADHD and different like learning disabilities really understand what that overstimulation feels like. It's really not a cop out. It's like when I'm overstimulated, my emotions, my thoughts, everything is literally dysregulated. Like everything is really like a lot. Like the lights. Like even like being in the grocery store with a lot of crowds, I get overstimulated because it's like people are touching me, people are talking too close, people are not being spatially aware of where I am and where they are in the grocery store. Like that really irks my soul. Like it's really annoying, and it's really like it makes me not want to be in the grocery store. Like the lights, even like that's why I feel like I don't tolerate Walmart. Walmart just seems too loud. Like it's loud, it's unorganized. Every Walmart, you got the aisles are different across each Walmart. Where there you go to another store like a Dollar General, it's small. It don't be a lot of people. The aisles are spaced out wide. Trader Joe's, I don't like that Trader Joe's in Metairie. That Trader Joe's, them aisles are ridiculously small. Like all Trader Joe's aisles are crazy, but the one Mid City I could tolerate, especially if I go not on a Sunday. Now we went that last Sunday. I was like, all right, never again doing this. And I know you heard me say that, like never again. Like I would never do that again because it was a lot. So when I say overstimulated, that's literally what I mean by overstimulated. Like if overstimulation is the feeling like I cannot process what is going on, so I am flashing out, and that's not healthy. But that's what I'm saying. What I'm working on is just being able to, okay, calm down, ground myself so I could slow down my thoughts. Because if I'm feeling the emotions, my thoughts are following how I'm feeling. Like I'm like a lot's going on. Like I need to do this, I need to do that, but this person's standing so close to me. Like there's a lot of different things I'm thinking about. Even when someone is assigning me a task, and if I'm feeling nervous about the task, I got 1,000 thoughts in my head that's just trying to figure out how to start the task. So that's what I mean by like overstimulation. Like it's a threefold. It's physical, emotionally, and mentally. A lot that's going on. So that's how I would describe the overstimulation. When I say I'm overstimulated, like that really would it be like I need to go back to my room and recenter myself. Like that's why I like being by myself. I don't like going out in crowds. Like I just physically can't do it. Like you could even ask Cameron. This one time we was in Orlando, and keep in mind we was going to the museum. I didn't even know he had bought the tickets already. We didn't even get out the car yet. He pulled up. I saw that line. I saw that crowd. I said, "Oh, you can take it back to the hotel." When I say he was so like flabbergasted, he was like, "You for real?" I said, "I'm so serious. I'm not getting out this car." Cause I could just feel the emotions. I could feel the overstimulation, the crowd, people not being aware of space. Like I hate crowds. No offense, especially with the young people, cause a lot be going on. A lot be going on. I be with the old heads. I don't got time. So that's what I mean by overstimulation. Like it really be a lot. Really be a lot. So hope that clarifies when I say that. I don't mean it as a cop out. I mean like I'm for real. I need to go to my room and like get myself back centered. Cause no.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. So has there been a time when one of us challenged the other's perspective in a meaningful way?
Yes.
Can you think of like one instance?
When we was at that beach, we was riding on the beach, and you and I had that discussion, and you challenged my thinking to think a different perspective, and that's when I got that breakthrough.
Okay. I guess that makes sense because I forgot this is like outside podcast too, like just a relationship. I feel like okay, so my focus was on the podcast.
Oh
no, you're right. Like I didn't specify the podcast. I was just saying like how did our dynamic change from the beginning of the podcast to now, but and how I changed in which ways that I changed your perspective on something. So it wasn't just from on the podcast. Like was there something I said that changed your perspective, but also.
But that did. Oh, you changed my perspective with emotions.
How so?
That making me understand that I could have a pile of emotions. That's just not one emotion, but I didn't let different emotions build up, but I'm categorizing it as one because I haven't dealt with the other emotions that have built up.
Right. I feel like for you, I feel like with the boundaries episode, I feel like that really was your episode because you give them boundaries. I feel like just changing my perspective on ways to set boundaries with people who are older than me and like, you know, the elders in the family and feeling like, you know, there you don't have to be disrespectful about it, but there is a way in which you could communicate it where you're respectful, but you're still wanting them to honor your boundaries and just setting that line.
Right, because I really think the older people has used that as a manipulation tactic.
I agree.
To get people to do whatever they want them to do or to remain in control. And that's not healthy.
Right.
That's manipulation and controlling.
I agree.
And you should not be using that as a tactic to get people to do what you want. And so that's where the boundaries come in. And you can set healthy boundaries with the elderly without being disrespectful.
Right. I agree. So how have our different life experiences shaped the advice we give and receive?
I think it has shaped our life in a good way because we may not like it at the moment it's being said, but it does give us the opportunity to listen, but also reflect and see how can we do better, because it's all about trying to do better. And if we are on a healing journey, we don't know it all, so we have to listen to others in order to know how to operate or move differently in that area.
I feel like for me, I think there was a post on TikTok that I had sent you about like the different generation, like the silent generation, Generation X, your generation, millennials, and Gen Z, and just like understanding like how each generation grew up in a different time point where like for instance, like the time when we were talking about social media, and for the longest point I just couldn't understand how I don't think you was giving advice about how people shouldn't, you know, use social media as like a measurement for like where you should be and where you shouldn't be, or like feel any type of emotions for seeing people posting things, even though in the back of my head knowing like people only post the good and you don't know how people got there, but still just feeling just innately just feeling some type of emotion just from seeing something that you desire or that you're working towards that you haven't received yet. And so I had a disconnect. I was like, why? Like, I ain't gonna lie, for the longest I was like, she's not being truthful. There's no way she's being true, that she's not impacted by social media. But when we had kind of talked about like when in our lives and social media come to be, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense, because growing up social media wasn't in your formative years. Like you didn't have social media in like high school, middle school, none of that. And I feel like that's when a lot of your sense of identity, your sense of self, your sense of confidence, all that is built in your understanding of society.
We actually had to talk to each other.
Right.
It wasn't no
And it was very
cell phones
realistic
like
as
that. It
well.
was realistic.
Yeah.
We was able to see each other in real time.
Right. And y'all had realistic expectations. So
Right.
now when social media is in the mix, it's like y'all still can hold on to the core values. Like back in my day, we was actually communicating. I was, talking to people face to face, and seeing what was possible within, the scope of what I could see,
Right.
not someone across Europe and stuff like that. Whereas with my generation, we could see everything from the touch of our fingertips. We could look up things from the touch of our fingertips. We could order things at the touch of our fingertips. Like everything is so fast paced. And so,
But just because people are posting stuff don't mean they happy.
yeah.
And I never measured people posting as them being happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because what people don't understand is when you overly posting like that, you're trying to prove something.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're trying to seek validation and whatever. And the reason why I say that is that's what made me stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I realized, okay, bro, what is this? What is the purpose of you constantly posting?
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to prove to people that you are really living life when you really should just be living life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to prove to nobody that I'm really enjoying my life.
Right. Yeah.
By posting a picture that I'm in France or Italy or whatever. Them people do not care.
Yeah. And I feel like, because I do feel like the social media has shifted as well as far as like what people have posted. Like in the past, like when social media was just coming out, you was only really seeing your close friends, to be honest. But now social media is a point you're seeing people
It's
you don't even
worldwide.
follow.
Yes.
Yeah. So that also has like warped a lot of young people's expectations about where they should be at certain milestones, what's even possible as well. Because I feel like when you're just seeing people within your hometown, it is limiting. Like you do have limited
and people are not telling the truth. They're not showing the whole beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we're talking from the standpoint that we're in, but nobody has seen this journey prior to this.
Right.
Nobody has seen the really unhealed April before she even discovered this journey.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So you can only go based off of what you hearing me say now.
Right.
But you're not going to believe that's where I was back then because you didn't see me go through it.
Right.
Unless you was somebody that was close and near to me and actually saw what I'm talking about.
Right. And I do agree, like social media is kind of killing that community and that feeling of like
Being
transparency.
real.
Yeah. Because it's like everything is just like at your fingertips. You're not really being able to build community with people, talk, get life advice. Like, oh, how did you do that thing? Like seeing like the journey unfold from beginning to end is like click snapshots of like the best moments of everyone's lives. So it's like, it's that gap that needs to be filled as well that social media is kind of killing. Well, not kind of.
Because just because people are on trips and buying cars, that don't mean they got money.
Right. Yeah.
They got a lot of people spending money. The government spending money and don't have money. So make it make sense.
$1 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Trillion.
Make it make sense.
But yeah, but just like understanding, I just use that as an example of like, we've had different life experiences with social media. And so the advice you would give to somebody with social media would probably be like, why are you letting social media phase you? Whereas me, because I've been through that life experience, I would give different advice on that.
But you're not the only young person I have heard say that, oh, I had to get off of social media because I started comparing myself. And I'm like, but that shouldn't be your measurement because them people could be lying. Just like they had one girl on there lying and she looking fabulous but homeless, living in a car. That's why I say that is for show. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of people that's flashing all this stuff, but yeah, she was stealing the purses out the store that she was advertising on social media. Mm-hmm. That's why I say you can't go off of what people are posting on social media. They'll have you about to sell your soul.
Yeah. But yeah, I was using it as an example of like the different life experiences. And so like, I do think about like, okay, what generation am I communicating with to really understand their perspective? Because I feel like that does says a lot about their behaviors and how they view life, their thoughts about society, politics,
but it ain't just your generation, because they have Generation X that be on social media and think it's life.
Yeah. But and that's what I'm saying, it's definitely not a one size fits all as far as like who all, how people's relationship with social media. But I feel like that brought more perspective as far as why there was a difference in how we view social media's impact on, comparison and stuff like that. And so that's something that I just I just keep in mind. I feel like that's probably why, like, when I was younger, I could probably like resonate with grandma a little bit because she came from the silent generation. So feeling like dang, grandma never had the opportunity to really express the pain that she went through, and so that trickled down onto your generation. But then think about, like, societally, what was going on, how they call your generation a bunch of crackheads. Because the crack epidemic and stuff like that, there was a lot going on. Child, that was on everything in the 80s. But, just thinking about how it was very, like, revolution, like, black power, like, very, like, outspoken. So your generation.
And we
then,
still don't have no power. That's the sad part.
And then the millennials and everything they went through with, like, economically, thinking the world was going to end. Like, everything. Then our generation as well, it kind of having that same political catastrophic climate going on right now that's really impacting us. And in COVID, we had a lot. I'm sorry, we got y'all all beat, honestly. What's one thing you admire about the other's willingness to grow?
I'm proud of you because you are very stubborn.
I got it, honestly.
I'm not.
Girl, yes you are.
I used to be. I'm still stubborn?
Yes.
How?
You know how we be calling the elderly stuck in their ways. You will be stuck in your ways in some points, but you growing. You nowhere as stubborn as you once were, but you still have them stubborn tendencies.
I know I done came a long way with my stubbornness, because I just tell you, you know where to go.
Yeah. One thing I like about what's the question? Oh, about your willingness to grow. Is that you do admit when you wrong. I feel like, for example, like, I feel like we did have a conversation, like, at some point when I was younger, when you just sat down, you just had an honest conversation about things in life that you did that you felt, you were open and honest, saying, Jada, I did this the wrong way. This is the way that I should have did this. And just, course correcting yourself. So I feel like that is some ways that I feel like you have shown your willingness to grow, is just being open and honest when things have not gone as expected.
Yeah, because I don't ever want you to think that I lived a perfect life before having you. Because I don't ever want you to think I'm just this. I was a perfect child, a perfect adult before having you, or a perfect mother. No, life be lifing. And it's opportunity to grow.
Right. So now we're going to switch gears on to, looking ahead past season 1 into the future. So if you could speak to the version of yourself from episode 1, what would you say?
Oh, I would say that I'm proud of us. I'm proud that we took on this journey with God to allow him to give us this podcast and to speak to other women, to heal the little girl, to restore the woman. But I'm also proud of us because we stuck through the whole season without giving up.
If I had to speak to future self, I would say, Jada, you are a good communicator. You are able to regulate your emotions. You are able to set healthy boundaries. You are able to heal from, your family dynamic that has had this generational trauma, and create your own family dynamic that is healthy, and teaching your kids healthy communication. Like, you are all those things because God is all those things. So that's what I would say to future, to past Jada.
Yeah, because you didn't tell me to say the future self. You said...
That's what I meant. Like, but me now going through these episodes, that's what I would say to Jada, who didn't go through these episodes yet. Like, just affirming her.
Yeah, that ain't what you said.
So now that you understand what the question was, what would you say?
That I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. I'm proud of you for taking the time to understand what emotions really are, and not just categorizing everything to anger, but also getting down to the bottom of why you didn't feel chosen. And also just having these discussions, because now it has shined a light in other areas that I feel that I need to grow in. But also too, it has made the healing journey a lot more, I'm not going to say easier, but more worth going through, because I feel that I have broken down, different elements towards where I need to go to get to final freedom. You see what I'm saying? So I'm very proud of season 1, because season 1 had me to really express some things that I hadn't expressed, and to get to the bottom of some things.
All right now. So now we're gonna move into our game segment, and this is just like for our audience to get a sense about like who we are. So it's like it's just who's most likely to. Um. So yeah, we're gonna play the game. Who's most likely to? We're gonna read the question, think about who, and we're gonna count off and then blurt out who it is. See if we aligned or not. All right. So the first question: who's most likely to send a 3-minute voice memo instead of a text? All right. 3, 2, 1. Me.
Yeah, you.
You supposed to say it at the same time.
Oh.
But yeah, me. Now if it was text,
it'd definitely be me.
Definitely be you. All right. Who's most likely to cry during worship? 3, 2, 1.
Me.
You. Definitely. Yeah. Who's most likely to overthink a simple decision? 3, 2, 1.
You.
Me. Why she looked at me like that? Like I knew it was me, yeah, but geez. At least play it off like who could that be? Who's most likely to encourage a stranger? 3, 2, 1.
Me.
Both of us.
Oh, both of us.
I
You don't talk to strangers like that.
I do.
Oh.
I do. I would encourage a stranger if they're going through something. I would.
You don't walk up to strangers.
You don't walk up to strangers either, but I mean, like, I'm saying, like, okay, say we in a group setting, and we have to talk to other people, and like, I mean, like, it's like a focus group or something like that.
Okay.
I feel like I do be encouraged. People like, girl, you got this, like stuff like that. Yeah, but I feel like both of us do that. Who's most likely to buy another journal instead of finishing the ones they already have?
You always trying to really
3, 2, 1.
Me. I like stationery, so
that girl, she got 50 million notebooks. 50 million. I ain't gonna lie, I'm starting to do that too. But who's most likely to avoid a difficult conversation and then regret it later? 3. Look here now. Let's do it right. 3, 2, 1. Me. All right now. Not too much now. You got too much dip on your chip over there. All right. Who's most likely to break a generational cycle by choosing a different response than what they were taught? 3, 2, 1. You.
Both of us.
I feel like you. I feel like you definitely break free from the mold. Like you're more the person to speak up about it. Me, I'd probably be like, everybody crazy up in here. Everybody need therapy. But you're the person to really vocalize it and really do some get the ball rolling, I feel like. And then I'll come in and help you set your systems up to help everybody get. Yeah. Who's most likely to turn a simple conversation into a deep discussion about emotional growth? 3, 2, 1. Me. Oh.
Who's most likely to turn simple conversation into a deep discussion about emotional growth? Both of us.
Yeah. Who's most likely to recognize that their tone doesn't match their intention and circle back to apologize? 3, 2, 1. Both of us. Who's most likely to send a thoughtful text after realizing they could have communicated better? 3, 2, 1. Me.
You.
Yeah. You be sending out texts, but
I'm quick to say I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you don't send a text. You'll go up to the person. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. Please, leave in the comments which of the episodes from season 1 really resonated with you the most. What is something that you really took away from this season? And what are you looking forward to hearing for season 2? We have, some ideas of how we want to really structure season 2. You want to tell the folks what we're thinking about, but we definitely still want to have feedback from you all as far as what was helpful from this season. Did you like the structure of this season? Did you like our game segments? What are some things that you wish you would have heard more of? And what are some things that you were looking forward to hearing in season 2?
I think we're going to leave that for our live.
Mm-hmm.
So we want you to come back to the live. And the live is going to be...
It's going to be July 26th.
So come back to the live and talk with us on the live and tell us what do you want for season 2.
Yes. The live episode will be live streamed on July 26th at 8 p.m. Central Time. And we're really just going to have an hour just to chat with you all, get your feedback on, the episode structure, and what are some topics that you've been struggling with or want to know more about for the future episodes, so that we could really start building this community and giving you guys the tools and the resources and the spiritual guides to really do the inner work to heal the little girl to become the woman that God has called you to be. So stay tuned for more.
Thank you.
And so with that, I just want you all to please leave a review on all our podcast streaming platforms. That's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at MendHER Podcast. Also subscribe here at our YouTube channel at the MendHER Podcast. Also follow us on TikTok and Substack at MendHER Podcast as well. And let us know what you're looking forward to hearing from us in the future episodes. And we're so happy that you guys tuned in to today's episode, and we'll catch you in season 2. Bye, everyone.
Bye.